You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hammock Hangers Podcast. I am your host, Paul Collins, or Skunk Ape. As most of you know, HangCon 2023 was last weekend, so for this episode, I wanted to bring on the full crew, well minus one, that helps to make the event what it is. We just have a little chat to introduce everyone and tell what role each one played during HangCon, the event itself, and our thoughts on how the event went. We pretty much give you a behind the hang, so to say, sneak peek on how the hang goes from our perspective. So let's head on in to meet everyone and get on with the chat. All right, everybody. This week we have a whole gaggle of people on. We got the whole crew that made HangCon happen, which HangCon, was this past weekend. So this episode is pretty much the trip report or the debriefing. So I have my co-host, of course, AJ Phoenix. We got Michael Moore, Little Ricky. We got Jake, Pooh Bear, Travis, Captain Carry On, Matt, the Water Boy, Juan, Florida Hanger, and Jane, Daddy. What's up, everybody?
How you doing, Paul?
All right, so we just finished up with HangCon a couple of days ago. Everything was awesome. So I just want to thank, first off, everybody that is here with me now for the awesome job that everybody did.
And 100% echoing there. A lot of people, I've heard nothing but amazing things said about our event. This event takes a lot of manpower. And even though it looks like me and Paul do a lot of things, this event would actually not nearly happen as well as it does without the people on this podcast. And even we don't have one of our people. This event, everything runs smoothly because of this well-oiled machine, this well-oiled team, and everyone doing the best that they can to make this event as possible as they can.
Absolutely. Now, Lil Ricky and Florida Hanger, they've been with HangCon from the beginning, since it was actually known as the Florida Annual Hang. That's correct, right? With both of y'all?
Sorry, 2012 is when I started the second year. Little Ricky was there from the first year, nonstop.
Gotcha. So we're just talking about you and Juan being some of the originals.
Oh,
all the way back from the Florida Hang, correct?
Correct. Number one.
Yep. So y'all been part of all this from way on back. So let's just go around. I know everybody can see on here how everybody's lined out. So let's start with Little Ricky, and we'll go around that way from Little Ricky to Pooh Bear to Travis to Waterboy to Juan to Jane, and y'all just tell everybody what your role is with HangCon and everything else.
Okay. Like Paul said, I'm Little Ricky, otherwise known as Michael Moore. My job at HangCon was to basically try to help out as much as I can. I first kick on the role of HangCon as a vendor rep. However, I passed that role along to Paul and Skunk Ape, and just tried to help out wherever I could, washing, running around, running the registration desk, just had a lot of fun helping out. So that was my contribution. Oh, and we gave out some free whiskey this year. I was able to do that, so that was fun.
That's right. You had your table was pretty loaded whenever you done that too, from what I saw.
Just a little.
Just a little. But you also usually do all the running around at the raffle as well, which this year was a little easier, wasn't it?
Yeah. Normally I'll run up to people like Price is Right type thing, check tickets, try to amp up the crowd. This year I kind of slow down a little bit. I turned the big 5-0 this HangCon, so I gotta take care of myself. I'm not as young as I used to be.
So. None of us are. So, all right. Let's see if I can get Pooh Bear off of mute. There he is.
Oh yeah.
So what about you, Pooh Bear? Tell everybody your role for HangCon this year.
So really, I kind of previously, I guess I kind of just helped Chino out, right, with whatever he was doing. He says he does security or whatever, but this year we had a full kitchen, and with a full kitchen meant that Captain and Daddy needed more people because there was full kitchen and a heck of a lot more people. So I went in there pretty open-heartedly. Was like, hey, if you guys want some help on the flat top, let me know. I can be there for you. And sure enough, that help was needed, man. It was kind of wild. It got a little crazy in the kitchen there for a little bit, but we'll get to that portion.
Well, I know all three of y'all slated in there, between all the meals, the new thing that we tried with the lunches, that went over very well, in my opinion. Yeah, kudos to y'all. We had, what was it, AJ? Right around 400.
Yeah, right at 400 people.
So I mean, that's 100 more than what we had last year. So y'all did awesome without a doubt.
Everyone
Travis.
turned on the crock pots every night.
Yes, they did get turned on this time.
Huge thing. There was no emergency breakfast that had to happen. All crock pots were turned on the night.
Well, okay. So with that being said, though, yes, last year, there was a little snafu with forgetting to turn on the crock pots for the breakfast the next morning. But with the snafu that we had with the wonderful smoker that we were using this year, and Pooh Bear and Captain Carry On and Daddy and everybody having to, change gears and make that correct, fix that little issue. I mean,
I still have PTSD.
I think do what?
I still have PTSD.
A lot of chopping. So how are y'all's arms? They still sore?
Right, a little bit.
Like legit, I'm not even gonna lie to you. So this is Pooh Bear, but legit, it was because we had at least 4 people chopping the entire time. Daddy's like floating in and out of chopping and doing all the things that need to be done. And I was just on the flat top, but man, just moving all that meat constantly on the flat top.
Yeah,
I was sore up till yesterday.
What do we have?
So for our listeners, this is kind of a HangCon uncovered moment
behind
here.
the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah. So this year, for those of you that know, we got the kitchen, and we were internally blessed for that. We also got access to what we thought was an amazing smoker that they had at Sertoma. However, this smoker was not designed to be a pure smoker. It was more designed to be a cooker, but we did not know that. So our pork butt that we cooked throughout the night,
15 hours,
set a fire, never got above 130 degrees because of the design of the smoker. And for those of you that know about barbecuing, you know that pork butt needs to get to at least 200 degrees before it becomes, legit barbecue. So our HangCon crew, once we discovered this, not going to let a little snafu get us down. Our great kitchen crew hand chopped 250 pounds of pork butt for us to be able to eat on Saturday night. So
I think Travis was able to be heard around the lake.
I do believe.
What?
Yeah, Travis had 2 cleavers going. Oh God.
We had at least 3 people with 1 or 2 cleavers in each hand, chopping up nonstop.
Yeah.
Pooh Bear was on the flat top, cooking it up to temperature as Heather's coming in, getting all that food out. While we're still doing all this stuff, as that pork is coming out, we're still serving that food. We're pulling butts off the smoker. We're pulling those bones out, getting it all chopped up. It's I believe that we found out it was about 2 hours straight of just chopping.
Oh, at least, if not more.
So if you're wondering why dinner was 2 hours delayed, spoiler alert. This is
They
why.
want to total 2 hours. What a 1 hour, 1 hour delay.
1 hour,
For
40 minutes.
any barbecue enthusiasts who looked at it and said, "I don't think this pork was pulled." It wasn't.
Yeah, no.
That is why.
Yeah, it kind of changed from pulled to chopped.
It was delicious. It really was. You guys did.
Yeah, it was still good. Yeah, it was still awesome.
Because we had Mike
I
D's
didn't hear any
barbecue
complaints
sauce.
about it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We put Mike D's all
This
over.
We had
podcast
to put
brought
some
to you by
D's on
Mike
it.
D's.
Oh,
Mike D's being one of our new vendors, a good friend of mine.
Brought to you by
college
Mike
who-
D's.
Mike
There it
D's
is. That was actually has it.
Yeah. Mike D's Barbecue in North Carolina. He's opening. He has a restaurant opening and doing lots of great things up there. He only brought his sauces down, which his sauces are amazing. But I'm telling you guys, if you can get your hands on some of Mike D's rub, it is on point. On point.
Well, I think Mike felt bad for us too. So
He did.
Next year, for HangCon, he's actually pulling his big smoker down that he does catering and everything else for, and he is offered to do the Saturday night dinner himself and everything, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't know. For those of you that are interested, Mike D has actually been on TV. He was on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, he's been on what is it? Barbecue Masters or whatever
barbecue competitions.
Yeah,
That's
what are the barbecue? I used to watch it all the time.
No, is it Pitmasters?
I think it is Pitmasters. Yeah,
I think it was Pitmasters.
I think so.
No, he is definitely not just your recreational barbecue guy.
No, absolutely not.
His barbecue sauce is very good.
So now Travis is the HangCon chef. He loves that name too, chef.
Yes, it's my favorite thing for you guys.
Yes, chef.
Favoritist. Yes, chef. So tell everybody about your entire role there, Travis.
Well, as AJ likes to call me, I am the kitchen wench. When we were given the opportunity to take over HangCon a couple years ago, it just happened to be fortunate enough that I had plenty of culinary experience. I've been working in and out of kitchens for 15 years now, and have gone to school for it at Le Cordon Bleu. So serving a multitude of people, just I fit the bill. So
right.
I got voluntold
And
one
you
day,
said yes.
and I did.
Right.
He was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" More telling than asking, as AJ does. And I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?"
And so, you came up with all the recipes and all that stuff that we
I can't
use.
take full credit for the recipes. We, AJ and I have sat down many a time and
Well, I mean, I know we've
different
had
ones and
I know we've
through.
had our do our group hangs and stuff like that. But as
But
far
you
as
certainly created the menu.
correct, you slimmed it down, made it to where we're not spending our whole time at HangCon, chopping and doing this and doing that, just doing nothing but preparing meals.
Yes, that was a challenge, one of the challenges, because
and then constantly, changing the recipes as the event grows to more and more people. I mean, that's a challenge in itself, there. So,
and one of the things that that he probably won't take credit for this, but one of the greatest things that makes Travis that's valuable to HangCon as he is Travis, with his experience in the kitchen, he's been able to severely limit the any sort of food waste that we have, and we are able to really utilize as much as we can, and to feed the people, and also not to end up wasting money, which always makes me happy. Slightly, maybe a lot.
Maybe you won't stress as much next year.
I tell you what, though, I couldn't do it without all the amazing help that I have in the kitchen. Especially this year, Jake and Jane were phenomenal. And Heather from Palmetto State Hangers, also, got up with me in the mornings, helped me with breakfast, and then I never had to worry about who was helping me with lunch and dinner.
Well, that's what's great about the way that we all work together. We do this like a job. We each have our own roles, and it seems to work. If one of us needs help with something, we call somebody. It just seems to work a little more flawlessly.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people just make the comment to me and to Skunk that it seems like that the HangCon crew is just this well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of posts on Facebook about it. People saying that and everything. So,
and that's always really great to hear.
Right. All right. So, what about you, Matt? I know your role's kind of spread also.
So comic relief mostly.
Absolutely.
Making sure Travis gets out of the kitchen at least once in a while to see, breathe some fresh air. Started off at registration. Spent a lot of hours at the registration desk, greeting people, letting people welcome people so they know what's going on at HangCon. One of my important jobs would be bringing my 17-year-old son Christopher so he could be a slave in the kitchen.
Yes.
That was a big thing.
Absolutely.
He worked really hard.
He did phenomenal, though. He did a really good job.
He did.
And I got an opportunity to teach a class this time. I got to teach the pot koozie arts and crafts class for AJ. That was a lot of fun.
Did you have fun doing
good.
that?
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll get the opportunity to do it again next year.
You mean people actually believed you knew what you were doing?
I've been in the class. I was an assistant last year in the class, and I have been teaching for 25 years. So,
hey, whoa. Okay, yeah. I've seen. I know AJ's a teacher too, and I've seen his skills. I mean, I witnessed his skills, after HangCon. I mean, that's a whole different episode though. But so, all right, Juan.
Yes, how you doing?
How you doing?
For this past year, y'all let me play with some fire, so I appreciate that.
Well, you're the fire master. You're our fire master, without a doubt.
Well, there's quite a few of you that I didn't see around the fire too often, so that we're going to have to change that next year. Matt, looks like you're going to be in the kitchen a little bit longer, so Travis can get outside. But
yeah, he didn't. Travis didn't.
So
Travis wasn't able to spend.
I was able to actually. Sorry.
You're good.
I was able to get to the fire a little bit earlier than usual, and it was definitely necessary because that firewood was not the best that we've had, but we can definitely work with it. So that's not something that should be an issue in the future. The problem I'm having is, like Mike, I'm getting up there in age, and it's getting hard to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to get the fire started in the morning. And that's what I'm going to be working on next year. Okay. But I got the fire job, I think it was 2013. And like our previous host used to say, that when you complain about something, that is now your job. Although I wasn't complaining about the firewood, then I was just asking some questions to get a little better idea of what was going on. And that became my job ever since then, which I didn't mind it at all because I love playing with fire.
the resident pyro.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, Jane. You're up.
I guess my thing for HangCon now is helping Travis out in the kitchen, just kind of cranking out that food, making sure things get done on time. I guess the one job that I've kind of taken over the past couple of years is desserts. So those cobblers, those cakes, those are the ones that I really worked on, I guess.
Okay.
That's really it. Really just kitchen stuff.
Don't sell yourself short, dude.
I know, right?
You do registration. You help put up the signs. You do anything and everything that needs to get done.
I certainly try to. This year, unfortunately, for a couple of reasons, I wasn't able to come in until the afternoon of Friday. But pretty much once I came in, I set my stuff up. I almost didn't set foot out of the kitchen, but twice, to go to bed each time. But
I remember when HangCon used to involve napping. We used to wake up, eat breakfast, nap till lunch, nap till supper, stay up too late at the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of us took a single nap the entire time.
Well, that was that was pre-2020. Like, oh, we're just attendees. We're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pre-2020.
Man, that's exactly what it was like for me and little Ricky.
But despite the amount of work that it was, especially this year, especially with a couple of equipment snafus that we've had, I truly wouldn't have had a better time if I had other people in the kitchen with us. I told Travis, I didn't choose my job at HangCon. I choose my coworkers, and I truly love everyone in that kitchen. And
you purposely chose Travis?
Hang out with me, or hang out with Paul.
This is
Travis
true.
and Jake and Trash Bag in there. Chino was in there. Chris was in there. Heather was in there. It was a really good time.
So
hopefully nobody passed.
Can't forget Homeless Santa.
Homeless Santa, of course. How could I forget? Who forgot?
Don't forget though, as homeless as Santa looks, he still has better gear than you.
He does.
Okay, so I have a question for Juan and Lil Ricky, and then after that, AJ, just go into some of the stats, for this year's event. So, Lil Ricky, Juan, since y'all been going to the event since it was the Florida Hang. When it started off as the Florida Hang, there was how many people that were going?
I believe our first one was around 12 to 15 people.
Okay. So 12 to 15 people. So
was it 33?
Yep.
Oh, okay. 33. I apologize.
I think Juan's still like the HangCon historian. He has every bit of that information. So I'm going to do an episode with Juan one day, and he's going to tell the whole story from beginning to end. But so what are y'all's thoughts on how HangCon has evolved from back then to, what it is now, like what we just had, last weekend?
Well, obviously there's a sign. Bigger is better, right? It's become more of a let's educate people. When it first started out, it was just a group of friends that met up on hammock forums and got together. I mean, we had Paul and Missy from UGQ there. They were our only quote vendors at the time, and even then, they were just there to kind of just hang out. And that's basically, in my opinion at least, that's the big difference between the two. But the Florida Hang lives on. We have a group of people at Buck Lake that sort of keep that tradition alive.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say that our sort of hang has transitioned into let's show the people what we do. Let's make sure that less and less people look at us strange when we tell them that we go out in the woods and hang in a hammock. So I think that's our job now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know that when I first asked Mike D to come out, he's not really a camper. In fact, he slept in his truck through the event. When I told him what we did, and he kind of gave me this weird look, and he didn't really know how to explain like what he was doing to other people or where that he was going. You just say I'm going to hang out with a bunch of people in the woods in hammocks, strangers that I met on the internet. That sounds like a great pro-life choice. But he had a blast. Everybody that I've talked to that are new to the event coming in, they had a blast. So obviously, we're doing something right, even though it does kind of sound a little weird when I tell people where I'm going, why I'm missing school.
Yeah. I agree. We have to be doing something right because, I mean, we keep, growing in numbers each year. I mean,
the biggest change I've seen so far, just so you know, is when the annual Florida Hang started, it was just a bunch of hikers getting together.
Right.
And now we've grown so much, it is way beyond the hiker and just the camper. That's the biggest changes I've seen.
Okay.
I agree. Like, I love the different types of people that we get. We get everything from car campers to a lot of first timers. And last year, I know we added our motorcycle campers to the group, and they've come back, and they're really great to add. And but we also haven't lost the hiker and what I classify myself as the wandering napper that comes out as well. So
don't forget the kayakers. There's a ton of kayakers.
Kayakers, yeah, absolutely, and bike packers as well. Hopefully, we can add a little bit more events and information next year on bike packing.
Yeah,
some literal car campers.
I think
where I see us in 2024.
Some literal car campers that sleep in their cars or ambulances.
Or ambulances, yeah. I know one of our guests that was there this year, Midge, she wants to do some classes next year herself that are more female oriented. Because she said she had a lot of people come up to her, a lot of other females going to her, asking her questions and everything else that, most females, aren't comfortable, talking to a guy about and stuff. So she's done set up some classes because there was so many females that came this year. A lot of them came, by themselves. So I think that's another.
I would say that's probably one of the changes that I've seen in the times that I've been coming to HangCon. When I would come to HangCon, the first couple of times, it was a very male-dominated population. Not totally, but it was very male-heavy. Now we are able to offer, and I see a lot of females coming in solo, and they keep coming back. So
even on motorcycles, I've seen them come on motorcycles as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's definitely like some topics and things like that I do believe that it's more beneficial to come from a female perspective. And I think that a lot more conversations, like my wife, for example, she came and she spent her very first full night in a hammock. And, she does section hiking on the AT. When we go out west, she hikes mountains. So she's more of the hiker in our family. But like she has things that she does in the backwoods differently that I'm not going to do. If I've got to pee in the woods, I just find a tree and but it's little things like that. And also, solo camping as a female is very different than solo camping as a male. And I think that's something that we kind of take for granted. And I really love that Midge, brought this up to us. And I know my wife was a part of that conversation. And, she told me later, it's like, yeah, I think that's a really great idea and something that the community really, really needs.
Yep. So what are some of the, I'll go over some of the stats from the event, AJ.
Okay. So, the last that we checked, our registration, we had a little over, 515 people, registered for our event, which again is an all-time high. As far as actual attendance goes, we had, right at 400 people, which I was okay with, just because another one of our snafus being our parking situation and the mud trap that Thursday night, Friday morning rain turned that into. Kind of another HangCon uncovered kind of moment. But I would be happy to let everyone know that 2024 will continue to be a free event. We made more than enough money to sponsor the event for the year, as well as cover all of our costs and a nice little chunk to roll into our expenses for 2024. So thank you to our vendors. You all made that happen. Thank you to all the people that pre-purchased raffle tickets. That is always a huge, huge, huge help for us as far as expenses go. Thank you for all the people that just donated. That maybe they couldn't make it, but they wanted to support the community and made a nice donation. You made this happen. You are giving the community the opportunity to offer a cost-friendly option for families throughout the country. We had 33 of 50 states represented at HangCon this year, which I think is a couple more than we had the previous year. So that's always great. I would love to get to the point where we hit 50 out of 50 states.
In a couple countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well.
We are definitely in talks with a few other groups. Our friends from the Great White North are looking at coming down. We got reached out to by some people in Japan. Japan has a huge hammock culture over there.
Yeah.
They actually even do a chameleon hang that I had heard about. And also we had a group of Dutch campers and actual Dutch, like Norwegian Dutch.
I was about to say there was already a large amount of Dutch campers there.
But we've garnered some international interest in our event. So I would really like to see us tap into that for 2024. I still think we have plenty of room for growth at Flora Sands Music Ranch. And I can't wait to see where we go for 2024.
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, I wanted to say that for all the vendors, I already spoke to a lot of them that have brought interest in going on our kayak trip for the Vendor Appreciation Day on Thursday. So that is great to hear that a lot of them are ready for it.
Well, I know, we had several new vendors, actually there this year set up and everything. And
just a few.
Yeah. They all said that they're definitely, putting it on their calendar to be back next year. I know, Sally and Adam from Hammock Gear, they were there this year and, done a heck of a donation. They were talking to me and saying that, next year they're going to make sure to be there and set up and everything else. So next year we're going to have even more vendors.
And from a vendor standpoint, I didn't get to talk to all the vendors, but just for one example, I know that Jacks Are Better came down. They brought 75 down quilts, and they sold each and every one of them.
Yes, plus some stuff.
So that is mind blowing. I know Yobo.
They
sold out of their stands. In fact, Kristen brought the stand to the raffle and said, "You need to take this because if I don't, Cal is going to sell it." So we're thankful for those vendor support, and that's really where that word of mouth really gets out. And that's one of the great things about our registration for this year. The overwhelming majority was new hangers. And if you're a vendor, that's the customer that you want. I mean, you don't want, maybe I'm a bad example because I have a gear problem, but,
you gear
vendors,
gremlin.
Aren't going to want to come to an event full of people that, they have their setup nailed in. They've already spent the money. They're not going to buy anything new. They want to come where they can show off what's new. What can you help us with? What can you outfit us with? What gear and things do you need? And obviously, that was the case this year. All of our vendors did really, really well. So any vendors out there that want to sell some of their stuff, I think HangCon is a good place to come.
And I think a lot of people will buy gear after meeting the vendors they didn't buy at HangCon, but I have bought stands and underquilts and hammocks from companies that I first met at HangCon, and then later on, within the next year, ordered online from those companies, specifically picking those companies because I met them at HangCon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I was going to say too, is like you can go there and try out things. And then once you try it out, you don't get to try out, hammocks from your vendors online. You're saving on shipping costs. You go there, you see them, you meet them in person, and then you can buy it. And then you forge those lifelong relationships that just continue to keep giving. So definitely encourage vendors to sign up and people to come out and try it out.
I think that's one thing. The conversation that I had with someone that was comparing HangCon to Trail Days that they have in Damascus. How at HangCon, when vendors are done selling for the day, they still hang out with everybody. They still, they eat with us. They hang out by the fire. We have an event where you can physically talk to and get to know the people that are putting needle to thread to fabric that are making the gear that you are using in and out. You're not just hearing someone on an advertisement or hearing someone on the podcast. You can actually go and meet them face to face, get to know them as a person. I completely echo what Matt said. Meeting vendors and things like that really persuade me to spend money with the people that support the community. Am I going to pay a little bit more than maybe some other vendor that I've never met? Maybe, but you know what? You supported our community, so I'm going to give back to you as well. And that's super important to me.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just go a little bit further than that with our vendors. These vendors to me are so awesome that just like AJ likes to share all his equipment with everyone in the world, the vendors do exactly the same thing. And I'll give an example. There's a gentleman that was having thyroid cancer. If you read online, you probably know who I'm talking about. And he was going to spend the night in his truck instead of a hammock because he didn't have any of his gear because he's been having medical issues lately. So Superior Gear, Danny, was going to let him use his entire setup with his built-in underquilt for his hammock, his top quilt, the cover, everything. And when he got called home because he couldn't stay, they offered it to me. Say, hey, go ahead and spend a night in it. See if you like it. Oh, I didn't want to try that because I'd get in trouble for that. So I just slipped my own rig, but the offer was there. And that's what all our vendors do. They're there to help out as well as, they're not there just to make a buck. They're there to help the community. And I love that.
Right.
Yeah, so, I know the temperatures got down really, really low. And this has happened numerous years where, you know, someone comes down and, hey, they only have a 40-degree set. And, you know, two of our nights got down to like 28 degrees. You know, vendors and community members, you know, are letting people that they've never met in their entire life borrow their $350 quilt, just nonchalantly, just giving that out and saying, hey, you can use what I have. And that's something just awesome about our community.
So what is what's something y'all would like to see for next year in HangCon?
Oh wow, that's a question right there.
Something different. I mean, how would you like to see HangCon grow?
Honestly, I think vendor customer relations. You know, if we can get more vendors out there and they're selling more equipment, especially because we have nothing like a ton of new people coming out. I think
right.
You know, we do have it did blow my mind though that we had 2 sections for vendors this year.
Yeah.
You know, and it is steadily growing. You know,
yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those situations where I guess if you're a vendor listening and you're on the fence about it, go talk to one of the vendors that showed up.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely. And it's not just like hammock stuff too. I mean, we have tree hangers, you know, tree hanger tees.
Yeah.
You know, like that was phenomenal. Love their stuff.
Yeah. Epic water filters.
Yep.
Sugarlands. Some guy sold
Sugarlands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'd say vendor customer relations. I mean, I think just if you're like you're in like the piloting stages, you know, you're prototype stages and you want to try something out, you want to see if it works. This is one of the best places to do it. Sell your gear super short or, you know, super cheap, get feedback, have somebody write a review, and then grow from there.
I remember last year when Derek Hansen, not Derek Hansen, when Derek Tillison had introduced the Haven, he said he was very happy to come to HangCon and show it out to people because, you know, he had released it during COVID and he hadn't had the chance for people to really see it in person. And so HangCon was really the place that people could really put their hands on it, put their eyes on it, lay in it, and really get some real world feedback from people that would be purchasing their product, not just seeing some ad on Facebook or online.
Yeah, and he put it on YouTube too. It's actually like when you look up HangCon on YouTube, that Haven shows up. That one from HangCon 2022.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, if he has a guitar anywhere near him, have him start singing for you. Don't let him get away with just being a vendor.
Who's that?
He's a talented man.
Yep.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
You need to start hanging around the fire more often, brother.
I did a little more this year. Shoot, by the time it's, you know, ready to hang around the fire, I'm exhausted.
Bring a chair, fall asleep in front of it. We won't roll you in.
I don't believe all that. I mean, I've had a few threats from Travis.
Just stay out of the kitchen when you're not supposed to be in there, man. We won't have these issues.
Now I know AJ wants you know, for next year to double down. You know, we had 400 this year. He wants 800 next year. I mean, that was our little talk.
I heard him say 1,200 next year.
12. Oh,
I could have sworn we were shooting for 1,000.
I think you all have been talking to someone completely different.
Well, the place can hold 3,000 and 4,000, so why not?
Well, it's something that we need to tell people is if they come in later during HangCon, please bring a stand, because even right now at the 410 people that showed up, whatever it was, 400, we were running out of trees and they wanted to be by the bathrooms and things like that. So if anyone listening hasn't been to HangCon, wants to come to HangCon, but might not get there on Thursday, you might want to buy a stand for one of our vendors. And
right.
And that's if you don't want to go primitive. Because there is plenty of space up in primitive, but walk distance to the
Did anybody get a chance to walk back in the primitive area? You did, Pooh Bear?
Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
How was it back there? Was there plenty of room back there, or was it getting crowded back there, or what?
Yeah, no. So every year I've been to HangCon. We were in Primitive, and this past was going to be my last one because of how involved we got this year.
Right.
But there was plenty of space back there.
Okay.
You know,
I know that goes back a good ways.
Oh yeah, and then there's even the secondary parking up right past like the welcome sign, and that's another area people were camping out at.
Oh yeah, it just I had a lot of people asking, "What do you mean I can't park next to the bathroom? I can't sit next to the bathrooms? Where are all the trees?" So yeah, we had like quite a few people that want to be in that like inner sort of circle, non-primitive. That got a little, I wouldn't say upset. They were just a little disappointed that they weren't in the main group. So
I wish everybody could be in the main group, but it all depends on, you know, when you're able to get there, of course. I know we try and, you know, reiterate that as much as we can, you know, on the different podcasts and on the website and everything else. But I'm going to try and make it a little easier too, because I'm revamping the website. So I'm going to try and make it to where everything is a little more open and accessible as far as information goes on that. Because I know we had a lot of people asking the same questions and everything. So it's a learning thing each year, you know, as we grow, you know, get more and more people, you know, little things are going to change, you know, here and there. So
I would encourage people as we kind of finish up here. If you came to HangCon and you had a blast, let people know. In the words of Robert Porterfield, he's the founder of the Barter Theater in Virginia. He would always say, "If you like us, talk about us. If you don't, just keep your mouth shut." So if you came to HangCon and you had a good time and you really valued your experience, we would really appreciate if you hopped on our Facebook page, like our HangCon page, and also leave us a review to let other people know just how valuable this event is to you and to your hammock journey.
Right.
And if you're on hammockforums.net, leave a trip report as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, didn't you start one on there, Juan?
Little Ricky did, and it is ready to go.
I knew one of y'all was.
Yeah, he accidentally put it on the planning thread, and I had a moderator move it to the trip reports thread.
Oh, okay. So, anything else, y'all? Let's see. What all did we cover? I think we pretty much covered.
I just wanted to say it was so great to see some people who do travel out of state who I only get to see once a year, like Just Frank and people like that, you know, that we don't hang in the same areas normally. And that's that once a year, and you build those friendships. You see them once a year, but you see them year after year. And it's just awesome to see those people.
Right.
I think that's one thing that people maybe misunderstand about HangCon a little bit. They see, oh, this is a huge event with 400 people. How can this tight-knit community even exist with a group that size? And it really does.
A lot of Sugarlands.
Year after year. And it's like a family reunion every year. And yeah, I mean, we go to smaller hangs, and those are very beneficial, and you get a close-knit community there. But the community at HangCon is still very much a small hang feel. It's just a bigger group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, a lot of the smaller hangs, those people come to HangCon too. I mean, we kind of wander around to the different hangs and all meet up, together at HangCon. So something else I want to add also, to carry on with what you were saying a minute ago, AJ, about, people going to our Facebook and stuff like that. The same goes with all of our, partners, our vendors and stuff. Especially if you were actually at HangCon and, you was lucky enough to, win some of that awesome gear from the raffle. Make sure you go on to, the company's website and, thank them for, making the donation of, the gear that you won. Because without them, HangCon really wouldn't exist, I don't think. So.
No, probably not. And they really are just real people, just like us, just like me.
They're all awesome.
They like to sit down by a campfire too. They like to tell a story. They like to talk to you and get to know you. And I know personally from talking to one vendor in particular in the past day or so, that's just how he likes to do business. He likes to sit down. He likes to get to know his customers. He likes to personalize most of the items that he makes.
Right.
And it's just, HangCon is essential to businesses like that.
Yep.
To me, it's funny how some of these vendors come down from up north, like Matt was saying, all these people coming from out of state. I'm going to Florida. It's going to be great weather. And they come down here not realizing our humidity is 95% when it hits 30 degrees. And they're trying to figure out what kind of cold this is that is going into them. And they're coming from frozen butt area.
Right.
So that's always fun to me.
But you do know, Juan, that you're getting the blame for the cold weather this year, right?
Thank you. Here. I never got my 2 inches of snow, but maybe next year.
Yeah, because it was day or two before HangCon, you made that post about, hey, anybody coming from up north, make sure you bring some of that cold weather down with you.
No, I said snow, 2 inches of snow.
You said cold weather, and then you said it would be even better with snow.
Same request I have every year for the last 12 years.
I blame you.
I'll take it. If it wasn't for the wind, it would be great because that just means I can make a bigger fire.
Yeah, that wind is what was killer.
I mean, geez, how many people had windburn? I did.
Look at AJ.
My forehead is still very chapped.
See, I'm red.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, has anybody got anything else that they want to add before we jump off here?
I'll say that I want to thank the kitchen staff. Me and Mike used to do so much everywhere. And I know with you guys coming in, I haven't had a chance to go into the kitchen, but that's because the kitchen's so well stocked. I don't think you guys need me in there. You probably would rather me not be in there. I understand that. But that just allows me to do other things like work with bad wood or do some security walking around, making sure things are okay. So thank you very much for the kitchen staff and doing that. And anyone out there listening, they're not paid for this. They do this because they love doing this for you guys.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we ask for volunteers. Just know we're volunteers too.
That's how it all starts.
That's how it starts. You're a volunteer, then all of a sudden you're on a podcast. What?
It first starts with becoming a friend of AJ, and then it spirals from there.
What about you, little Ricky? You got anything to add?
Start slowly developing the gear collection.
AJ, they're all following you. Sorry, AJ, they're all following you, so you can bring them out to Hidden Pond this year.
Yeah.
Jane, Matt, little Ricky, Travis.
I'll just.
It's so much work, but we have so much fun doing it. It doesn't seem like work.
We can all say this now that it's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work.
Over my fingers.
There were a few times this week I did turn to AJ or Travis. I looked them in the eyes and go, "This is our vacation too."
It used to be.
Oh man, I tell you what though, I wouldn't want to spend it with any other group of misfits. That's for sure.
Right.
I will say though, real quick, like the whole weekend was a lot of work, but you know what? Packing up Phoenix's truck was probably more work than anything else. Oh my gosh, dude! You need to get you like a freaking pack rat or something over there, man. Somebody could just pick it up and bring it to your house.
Like one of those pods.
Yes, yes.
Ship it.
Yes, pack it, ship. That's it. It was like
I'll add that to our
ridiculous.
HangCon budget for next year.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, it could actually do it. You're bringing a lot of stuff, and it's not just your stuff. You're bringing stuff that's essential for HangCon.
Yeah.
So you need a cargo trailer so everything stays dry in there.
That's something I need to get, is a trailer. 'Cause I had to make two runs out there myself from my house. I made one run a couple of days before I even got out there, and started setting up.
I mean, it doesn't help that you had 400 bottles of permethrin to bring to HangCon.
This is true.
Thank you,
This
Sawyer.
is true.
Thank you.
Everybody got permethrin.
Yeah.
Everyone who registered got a
Loves
bottle
Sawyer.
of permethrin to take home.
Yes,
It gets more people out in the woods.
absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of chuckle when some of the other hangs, when people say, "Oh, I have a full truck," or "Oh, my entire car is packed out," and I just think, "Oh, you lightweights!"
What, you don't have 4 trailers? Come on now.
Right? It's getting to that point. It's getting to that point. One thing that I would love to have at HangCon that we don't have. I would love to have a golf cart.
I was thinking of that as well. Even
Like, if I could
the
just roll
outlaw
around
HangCon.
camp in a HangCon golf cart, that would be perfect.
Well, a golf cart or
Can we
like one of the
wrap it?
little.
Just put Mayor
Yes.
of Hangtown on it.
Absolutely.
Big old
Get like a
sheriff's
little
star
Dixie
on the
Hazard
front.
horn that I could just honk. Yeah.
Flying a big old HangCon banner. They know it's you.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be funny. So, all right, if nobody else has anything to add, we will go ahead and wrap it up. And thank all y'all for coming on and getting together. I know it's quite a task getting this many people together at the same time to do an episode. So I do appreciate all y'all, making the time and coming on, and we'll be getting together soon, and it won't be a whole lot longer. It don't seem like it will be anyhow, I'd say, until, we're all out there getting ready to talk about and plan, HangCon 2024.
Thank you, Paul.
All righty.
Thanks, Skunk.
Thanks, everyone, for all of you getting together to make this episode happen. I know it's not easy with everyone having different schedules and such to be on a show like this. I also want to give each one of you a very big thank you for doing what you do for HangCon and helping make it the event that it is. You are all a huge part of making everything run so smoothly year after year. I know that we are only a few days past the 2023 event, but I really can't wait until we are all sitting down together to start planning for HangCon 2024. Hopefully a lot of you listeners were there with us to hang out and enjoy the weekend, and if you were, head on over to our Facebook page, click on the Reviews tab, and leave a review to let others know about the time you had with us and why you keep coming back if it wasn't your first time with us. Also, don't forget to send a message to each of the vendors on either their Facebook or Instagram to thank them for their donations that they make to the raffle. Those donations are a big part of what allow us to continue to hold HangCon each year and keep it a free event for everyone to come to. And if you're enjoying the Hammock Hangers podcast and you want to help us grow, make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other platform that you are listening from. You can also go to the Hiking Radio Network website, click on the Hammock Hangers podcast page, and leave a review there as well. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well, and share us with all your friends. So until next week, happy hanging, everyone.